choreography tonight so that everybody understands in a packed house how we're going to conduct this little operation. There are two pieces. We'll go through the formal recognition of everybody, inviting you up and sharing a rose. I'll talk about that further in a second. And after you have taken action as a board, we have a few probationary appointments tonight I just want to highlight before we move on to the rest of the board meeting after tenure. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to ask each group to come up, individual to come up, but we're going to do it by level. So we'll start with the high school, and then we'll move to the middle school, then we'll move to the elementary level, and then our two administrators who are receiving tenure. So to make this work in the space, Dr. Hagerman and Ms. Maud will come up to where you see the flowers. I will invite, not yet, just a second, but walking through it. What we'll do is we'll ask all the high school folks at that time to go out in the hallway and come in this way, and then form a line standing. We can move the mic back. We'll form a line standing facing the audience, and then once all the high school folks are done, we'll ask you to step back, and then we'll do the next group and the next group. And then at the conclusion, we're going to ask Vicki Presser to take you all out to the hallway for a tenure class picture. Okay, so I'll review these pieces again. I understand how classroom instruction works. So, but to start, I'd like to share a few words. So it's picking up on both what Dr. Hagerman and Ms. Maud said. Achieving tenure is a significant accomplishment in the career of an educator. Importantly, the action that will take place tonight, the conferral of tenure, cannot happen before a teacher or administrator successfully completes a trial or probationary period. The quality and effectiveness of a probationary educator's performance is gauged against professional standards. In Scarsdale, we use Danielson's framework for teaching to guide our teacher evaluation process. The framework describes effective practice across the domains of planning and preparation, the classroom environment, instruction, and professional responsibilities. For our administrators, we use the Interstate School Leaders Licensure Consortium standards, that's a mouthful, which covers 6 broad categories of leadership, including vision for teaching and learning, instructional leadership, management and safety, collaboration, ethical practice, and educational context. Our system here relies on a wide variety of inputs to inform a decision to recommend tenure, including multiple formal clinical observations annually, an observation by an assistant superintendent or director annually, numerous informal drop-in observations by supervisors and evaluators, formal and informal mentoring, a year-end conference, written appraisal, assessment of progress, and rating annually, a portfolio of artifacts documenting professional practice with written commentary and reflection, feedback from parents and other parts of the school community, and an administrative review panel attended by district administrators, building administrators, supervisors, and Board of Education members each year. We believe the rigors of the tenure process are commensurate with the importance of the achievement. The work of supervision and evaluation is ongoing and is essential to the continuous development of all educators. I'm going to take a moment to share a few comments from the portfolios submitted by people in this room, because I think these words speak volumes. And I did make some slight edits to preserve anonymity here, so nobody will be obvious. In our portfolio, we asked teachers to respond in writing to 3 questions. The first was, why do you teach? And one of you said, I teach because I believe that in order for our society to thrive and evolve, we need guides showing us what kind of society is possible. Brazilian educator Paulo Freire writes that teachers should attempt to live part of their dreams within their educational space. I teach because I want to be one of the guides that helps students learn the academic and critical skills they need to make our world more democratic and more equitable. I have personally seen that all students, regardless of their learning style and personal background, have the ability to be activists and change makers. It's my job to provide them with a classroom where they will grow to fill these roles. This is a space where students will be challenged, respected, critical, and above all, cared for by me and their fellow classmates. Another question we ask is, how have you grown? One of you wrote, "Now, 3 years later, the teacher I am today hardly reflects the teacher I was when I started. I no longer feel I need to rely on my skills to grow, but to use my growth as a platform to ground myself for continuing development. My teaching has flourished into lessons that flow from one activity to another, as transitions have been a focal point of my learning as a teacher. I engage my students through skill and grade level appropriate repertoire and games that enhance the learning process by experiencing multiple avenues on different topics, which I've collected in my years of observations, graduate school, professional development, and networking." And a third question we ask is, what are the next steps in your professional growth? And one of you wrote, "One goal is to increase my use of technology as a learning tool every year. For example, in the spring, I will be introducing a new Scratch project that I created during the recent STI course, Coding to Learn. In addition to technology, I want to reframe lessons and activities to be more student-driven. By working with colleagues and attending workshops, I plan on designing and incorporating exploratory activities where students use simulations and problem-solving strategies to discover the content." Your words are far better than anything that I could say. So in conclusion, I'm going to share one more reflection. One of you ended your written reflection with this: "I'm extremely fortunate that my love of learning has led me to become a teacher in Scarsdale. My route here may have been circuitous, but the lessons I learned along the way were invaluable. They inform not only my understanding of myself, but have contributed immensely to my teaching practice. I know that the student that steps into my classroom on the first day of school may change and grow in ways no one can predict. I have no doubt that each of my students, even those that seem to have little interest in my subject, can be inspired to love this subject. It is my job to foster this as much as possible by accommodating them intellectually and emotionally. I look forward to continuing to work with faculty, administration, and the Scarsdale community at large to inspire students to love learning as much as I do for years to come." Well said. So we'll invite Ms. Maud and Dr. Hagerman to come up, and we'll invite the high school folks. I'll call you in through the door alphabetically, but if you could step out into the hallway, and maybe Vicki, you'll stop them.